Ole, 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 ole. Ole, ole.
This week on Tomboy T-Rod.
FIFA's Women's World Cup is just around the corner.
Yes, and we are kicking up a storm here.
I'm Danielle Warby.
And I'm Tamika Butt.
I'm so pumped for our first ever match. I feel like bouncing all over the walls right now.
Yeah, I can't wait to go out to the field and kick some balls. Ooh. Last year, when we are doing our World Cup special, I only got to referee. That's how boring it is. Oh.
Yeah, that's right. But remember, you got knocked in the head. Remember our guests, Tara and Nelson, had to help me heave you into an ambulance?
Really? I can't remember.
But it was quite the game. But this time, we gotta watch our backs though. And it doesn't help that there's the devious Red Evil team to contend with. Ugh, what an apt name. Makes me think of Hellboy.
I am not worried because, come on, we have the best midfielder in town. And she's in our team, Tamika Butt, Australia's W League football midfield star.
Yes, you're right. And we are so gonna score a goal for Tomboy T-Rod, Asia's first and only English comedy chat podcast. And mind you, it's pronounced T-Rod, not tirade or T-raid or however else you want to call it.
Yeah, and we are going to go all out, because that's what we are. A no-holds-barred podcast with a lot of gig and humor thrown into every episode. We're going to go all out on the pitch, guys! Yeah!
Hey, isn't that Tamika's agent, Danielle, there by the locker? Hey, Danielle!
Oh, not you two again.
Oh, where's Tamika? Where is she?
She's just getting ready for the match, tomboys. Stop following me around.
Okay, we're sorry, but we want an autograph. Pretty please. Please.
Yeah, or a selfie, a groupie. Please, just one.
Hey guys.
Tamika! Hello, Tamika. Thank you so much for this.
Yeah, we are going to print this photo up and then frame it and put it at our football altar and...
No. Wall.
Like some incense
No,
and...
wall. Yeah, football wall. Hush, Raven. Do you have to announce to the world that we were crazy football fanatics? Ugh.
Nah, that's cool.
So now you guys both have your photo and your autograph. Would you please stop bugging me and Tamika from now on?
Oops. Okay, sorry about that. It's just that we're big fans of Tamika and we get over-enthusiastic sometimes, so,
Yeah, so in fact, we are very excited today to have two very distinguished guests for our football special episode.
Yes!
Yeah! Thanks for coming to our show, guys!
Yes!
So, our very first guest is Danielle Warby, who is an advocate for women in sport, board director of the Australian Women's Sport and Recreation Association, founder and editor of sportschillers.com.au. We are very envious of her because she is going to fly all the way to Canada for the Women's World Cup.
Yay!
So how do you plan this big trip? So, and what are the matches are you going to attend?
Yeah, man.
Oh, well, I'm very, very excited. I've been planning this trip for, 4 years now.
Wow.
Yeah, well, ever since the last one, I was like, you know what, I have to get over and support the Matildas at the next World Cup. So, I've been pretty much planning it for that long, and only just over the last couple of months have I sort of been getting my flights together, accommodation and all of that. But yeah, obviously going to all of the Matildas games, that's my number one priority. So the first game's against the USA, and I can feel it in my bones. We are going to beat them this time. We've never actually beaten the US, so I'm very excited.
They are a very strong team, you know. It's, you know, they're pretty strong.
Yeah.
So tell us more about your role, you know, Danielle, as an advocate for women in sport.
Well, it really all started about 2006. A friend of mine, her name's Bronnie McIntosh, she played rugby league and rugby union for Australia, and I used to go along to all these events that she would organise, raising money so she could go represent Australia overseas, which I thought was, well, a little bit rubbish, to be honest, that she wasn't getting support from, you know, the NRL or Australian Rugby Union to do that. So she was kind of the person that initially inspired me to start Sporting Sheilas. The other inspiration was, again, the Matildas. I, you know, play football myself very badly, but I wanted
so
to...
do we.
Yeah. It's all about having a go. That's what I tell myself every Sunday. So I couldn't find news about the Matildas anywhere, so I decided to start a website and sort of collect what I can all in one place. And that's when social media was kind of starting. So, you know, I had actually at the time a MySpace page, but then, you know, Facebook and Twitter, obviously, and build up quite a community online of women's sport fans. So that was the beginning of it all. And I guess I'm still running that website, and I'm still, you know, very much vocal online in terms of supporting women in sport. And I joined the board of the Australian Women's Sport and Recreation Association a couple of years ago. We call it AURA for short, so if you don't want to have to say the whole thing, just say AURA. And yeah, we basically, you know, we deliver programs around mentoring for female athletes and female leaders in sport, and as well as advocate for more media coverage, for, you know, better representation for female athletes, and a whole bunch of other projects. And, you know, we're a volunteer organisation, so we do what we can to really help.
You're doing a lot. I mean, wow, that's straddling quite a lot of stuff. Where do you find the time to be on social media, and where can we find you?
Okay, well, you can find me, there's sportingsheilas.com.au, as you mentioned, also on Twitter at Sporting Sheilas, and Facebook at Sporting Sheilas as well. So if you just Google Sporting Sheilas, it's pretty easy to find the women's sports stuff. And then I've got my own account as well, obviously. So that's just my full name, Danielle Warby. So yeah, just Google me. I'm the only one in the world, so I will be the only Danielle Warby that comes up when you search.
I know, because we've been stalking you for quite a while now. It's like, I think about a year now. Okay.
Yes, you have.
So then we come to our second guest, Tamika Butt, who is an Australian professional football midfielder who plays for the Australian women's football team, the Matildas, and Brisbane Roar in the Australian W League. She'll be representing her country in the upcoming FIFA Women's World Cup in Canada. So we're looking forward to it, Tamika. So when do you start playing some football?
Well, our preparation for the World Cup started, I think, when the 2011 World Cup finished. So we've been training for a good 3 years or 3.5 years. And yeah, we've had some pretty intense camps at the moment. So football really hasn't stopped for us.
Yeah. So how do you feel about representing your country for the second time? Like, how's your training been going on in Europe? Has it been tough? Has it been, has it been more intense than the first time when you took part?
I think it's more intense for me because I was pretty young back in 2011. So this year I think I'm almost one of the senior players. Not quite, but we do have a young squad. So I've taken a lot more responsibility, and so I think, yeah, training is a lot more intense, especially being able to travel with it and going to Italy for 3 months and just having like basically a concentration camp. So yeah, training's been hectic.
Okay, hopefully not with all the dire consequences. Yeah, so where can we find you on social media?
I'm pretty much on every platform as well, just Tamika Butt on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter. I have a website at tamikabutt.com, and I have a video blog that you can check out on my website as well,
Nice.
or my YouTube channel. So,
And of course, since we're already following Danielle and Tamika on their social media platforms. But first, we need to get the show going, Persis. What are we going to talk about this week?
Yes, all right. I'm very excited because, I love football. This is our T-Rod football special episode, so we're going to talk all things football. Duh.
Woohoo!
Yes, I know. Our topics for today are the upcoming Women's World Cup and our predictions for the winner. We're going to talk about the first ever Women Footballer of the Year award and challenges faced by footballers and other professional sportswomen. So, guys, what are we waiting for? Let's get on the pitch. Come on.
Yeah, come on!
Woo!
Woohoo!
Okay, guys, let's get ready. Let's get on the pitch.
the crowd is loud. Aren't you guys excited?
Yeah, we can't wait to go out to the pitch
And head for the substitution bench, where we belong.
oh, damn, Persis, why did you burst my bubble?
That's what I do. That's what you pay me for.
But anyway, since there's still time, why don't we discuss some of the biggest news headlines for the World Cup season?
さあ間を縫って
Oshuala bears the ball around the defender.
مكتبة الميكروفون 端からシュート Uma jogar a Jumet And Sinclair makes soccer history.
So let's start with ticket sales, and they're going strong as the excitement builds up for FIFA Women's World Cup in June. As of May, 2 matches have been sold out, including the final. Yes, guys, all 48,000 tickets for the July 5th championships at BC Place in Vancouver are gone. They're missing, completely disappeared. Like, gone. So, if you haven't gotten your tickets for the final by now, that's just too bad. Eventually, FIFA and Canadian Football Association officials are hoping to reach 1.5 million in ticket sales for the month-long tournament that will showcase matches at 6 venues from Moncton to Vancouver.
Yeah, and the lineup for this edition of World Cup has increased to 24 teams, up from the original 16. So we have a few new debuts, and they include Thailand, Switzerland, Spain, Cameroon, Costa Rica, Ivory Coast, Netherlands, Ecuador. Congratulations to all the new blood! May the odds ever be in your favor.
Is Julian Assange playing for the Ecuador team? I don't know, because he's stuck in the embassy in London, right?
We wonder.
Well, the number of women and girls playing football around the world has risen from 22 million at the turn of the century to more than 30 million today. To mark this growth, the BBC Women's Footballer of the Year Awards will recognise the best female players. And because it's voted for by you, the fans, it's extra special.
It's amazing. You play every weekend, all the fans want to be involved, and that's why I think it's perfect that fans vote.
Previous winners of the Women's World Cup span the globe, from the Americas to Asia and Europe. And this year we'll see 8 more teams make their debut. So now, more than ever before, the development of the women's game appears to be truly global.
What?
No way! Wow!
Yep, we have 5 nominees, and they are Spain's Veronica Boquet, I hope I pronounced that right, Germany's Nadine Kessler, and Scotland's Kim Little. Brazilian forward Marta and Nigerian youngster Asisat Oshowala are also in the running. And it seems that the winner will be revealed on BBC's World Service on the 26th of May after being decided by a public vote. So the question is out on the floor. What do you ladies think? Do you think that these awards are a big step forward for the growth of women's football, or is it just like a pat on the back and then everybody forgets about it until the next year?
Yeah, look, I mean, it's always a step in the right direction when a massive broadcaster like the BBC recognises women in sport. We can't keep criticising when they do something small and we think that something bigger should be done because, we want to encourage them to continue things like this. So I think it's great. I think it's great that it's going to a public vote. I mean, my only issue with that really is how many of the public have actually seen these women play? And that's really what the issue is, because of all of these names, I could say that only in the last year have I seen Kim Little play because she played with Seattle Reign in the US and they live stream their games on YouTube. So, I've had the pleasure of watching her and she's a great player. But as for all the others, I wouldn't know because we haven't had the opportunity to see them.
Yeah, I mean, like for me, the only one I've ever heard of is Marta, and I've seen her play. And I heard of Nadine Kessler, but I've never seen her play. So yeah, I think for me the question is, you've got a great first bunch of nominees, but moving forward, right? I mean, because there's still so much to be done for women's football. I wonder where it's going.
Yeah, because we don't really have a lot of opportunities to see women's soccer outside of the World Cup. That's the problem. Like, I would love to see all these players on the list. Like, I would like to check them out. I want to nominate, but the only person I could, nominate is Marta, and I can't even say I watched her match last year. That was because I watched her match, a few years before. So, yeah, I think it's a great first step, though. Hopefully it's a step in the right direction to getting more publicity, because I guess at this point in time, we just need more people to be aware of the tournament. Because right now, I'm so excited for the Women's World Cup, but I have no idea what are the local broadcasters in Singapore are doing. Like, who's bringing it? I don't see any advertisements. So how am I going to watch it? I don't know. How is it the case in Australia and Malaysia, actually? Are you seeing the promotions for it right now? Or is there posters or, I don't know, promos?
I think the promotion's pretty limited at the moment, but it's slowly seeping out there. But I mean, when you compare it to the men's, the extent of marketing and things that go through the women's side of sport it's lagging behind a lot. But I think with the BBC World Series Award, it's a great step. I think it's an incentive for other countries to want to live stream their women's leagues and actually get it out there, and there's a possibility for, streaming contracts and TV contracts and all that. So I think it's a good incentive.
I think I've always said, I've said certainly since 2006 that the future of women's sport is online, and there's real opportunity there for associations, for teams, for clubs, to countries to actually get their games up, and also, profile the players. I mean, you would have seen just last week the US women's national team put out their 23 player profile videos up on YouTube, and that's something that, it's relatively inexpensive to prepare something like that. And I think what it does really come down to is a desire from the local federations to actually create that kind of content. And, there's plenty of people out there that could assist with this. I mean, in Australia, we've got a website called The Women's Game, which you've probably seen, who do a lot of work around football and promoting football. And, a lot of the content that's currently being created around our national team is done by fans. I'd really love, and that's the same in other countries as well. And I'd really love to see, the national federations actually getting together with those kind of content producers and actually working with them and assisting them. Because if they're not able to do it themselves, they don't have the resources or the money, there's a real opportunity to help others who are already in the space.
And Tamika is back. You are a force to reckon with on the field today.
Thanks, guys.
Oh, yeah, I'm really not liking our opponents.
Yeah, they're trying to take out Tamika down by shoving and pushing her. What's up with that?
After defeat in their opening matches, this has become a must-win game for the two bottom teams in Group D. It's Australia against Equatorial Guinea in Bochum. Terrific ball through, great chance for Garriott! It is the opener, Lena Khamis for Australia. Van Ekman with the ball over the top. Garriott's shot is blocked by the goalkeeper, and Khamis was first to the loose ball, and Australia get the perfect start as far as they're concerned.
The 7th FIFA Women's World Cup kicks off in Canada from June 6th to July 5th. 24 teams of the best women players from all over the world will compete for their World Championship title. This will be Australia's 6th appearance at the FIFA Women's World Cup, having only missed the maiden edition in 1991. The national team, which is also known as the Westfield Matildas, has twice reached the quarterfinals in 2007 and 2011, which is just the last World Cup.
What do you think the chances of the Matildas, scoring against, big teams? We're talking big teams here.
Yeah.
USA, Sweden, Nigeria. These are guys who've been, have been playing on the pitch for quite a while, and their women's teams are pretty strong. Not to say that I don't like the Matildas, but, come on. We're always with the underdogs, but, we just want to know what you guys are feeling right now.
Yeah, especially Tamika, because she's
Yeah,
going to go
Tamika,
out
yeah,
on the pitch and face those big guys.
No, I think I'm pretty excited. Again, like you said, we're going in as the underdogs, but I think that helps us. And I mean, if we only beat the USA once, may as well do it at a World Cup. So yeah, I think the whole team's got that mentality, and we're definitely going after it.
Mm-hmm. Wow, cool.
Yeah,
Danielle?
it is tough. I mean, we always talk about a group of death at a World Cup, and this one actually is a group of death. I mean, three top 10 nations, including ourselves and Nigeria, are African champions. So, it isn't going to be easy for any of the teams. I mean, we're pretty tough too. So I don't think the other teams are coming into this group stage thinking that we're going to be at all a walkover. So we do have a never say die attitude. And yeah, I think what it comes down to is performing on that big stage. And, we've got, as Tamika said, a fairly young squad, but quite a few older heads as well who have been to World Cups before. So I think that's really going to help us out, particularly against, these big teams.
In terms of a lot of these teams are quite cohesive in their play, especially USA, they're quite cohesive. And there's although you see a lot of talents in there, but they're quite strong together. And Nigeria as well, they bring on the African, method of play, which is short, fast passes, things like that. What do you guys, I'm not asking you to spill your secrets, but how do you guys prepare against teams like that who've got a certain style? What's Matilda's style? How are you guys going to go in there and find chances to score?
Yeah, well, I think there's two parts to everyone's game. There's an offensive and a defensive, and I think every team will go out and play their attacking style that they've planned to play and that they've been practicing. Mm-hmm. The only thing you really change is your defense and how you break down their attack, and if you can get quick counter-attacks or things like that. So it's more, you go out there with the game plan of your attacking side, and then, you work out how to defend against theirs.
Yeah, that's true.
So how was it like playing the last World Cup? Could you share about your experiences in your first World Cup?
Yeah, it was insane. I mean, coming from Australia and our W League, I think our first W League Grand Final, we got about almost 5,000.
Wow.
And then to go to our first game at the World Cup, we played in an amazing stadium in Germany. The field was perfect. Yeah. We played against Brazil too, and it was sold out. So, just having to try and hear your own players over a crowd it's insane. And you understand why the men are so passionate about it, and they get to experience that every week. So, I don't know, it's just, it makes you want to play football more and you fall in love with the game more.
And then the spirit is really very intense, isn't it? Not just from the crowds, but I think every team comes in with this really, intense fighting spirit to the pitch.
Yeah, for sure. it is kind of like a life and death situation there. Like, your teammates, you know that how much effort and hard work they've put in at training and on and off the field. So I think once you finally get there, everyone's just all in, and it basically is life and death for everyone.
How do you guys, I mean, this is something that I'm very curious about, like in terms of the stamina, when you guys play over a course of a couple of weeks, right? Like that, how do you guys maintain that fighting spirit, maintain that, competitive spirit, maintain that team unity, because it can be very psychologically kind of draining. And I know that a lot of sports people go through a lot of psychological, strengthening exercises and things like that. But, you're not talking about like a week or a couple of days. You're talking about like 4 weeks, like how do you sustain that?
Yeah. Well, I think physically, we've trained our bodies through the preparation to be able to back up for a game, an international game the next week. So, and of course you have all your recovery, like your compression garments and your ice bars and things like that. But mentally, you just got to set goals. We set long-term goals, but in between that you have the short goals or the little milestones that you have to get over. And if you don't achieve that one, you've got to move on to the next one. So, and you're doing it collectively. So I think the team environment really helps you stay stable.
Yeah, that's the thing that really I find it very fascinating, because actually people argue a lot in a team. How do you keep, going for 1 month with that collective, vision? Because, that's just something I got to take my hat off to.
So how is the fan support for Matildas? Do you know of any fans, apart from Danielle, who's going over as well? Or is Danielle bringing a whole team, cheerleading team there?
Yeah, we've got a good fan base coming. I think there's two tour groups coming. The Green and Gold Army from the Socceroos has jumped on, and so we'll get a fair few fans there, and also of course everyone's family. So that'll probably make up a big chunk of our fan base as well.
So apart from the Matildas, do you have any other favorite teams personally in this World Cup, and which country do you think will lift the championship trophy?
Which is probably Matildas.
Yeah! Go Matildas!
For sure. Like, I would love to lift the World Cup trophy, and I don't think it's out of Matilda's reach at all. I think we're a competitive team. Yeah. I have a couple of friends in other national teams, so, like Germany, got a few friends there. US, there's a few friends. But, I don't know, when you go to a World Cup, they're not really your friends anymore, so I'm just tipping Matildas.
Are you alright, Tamiko? That looks really nasty.
It's just a scrape on my knee, no big deal.
Yeah, Tamika's a pretty tough woman.
You know what? I think that team is really playing dirty. We are a great team and we have the heart of a lion, but still our women are getting injured and falling like flies. We're too good for our opponents, and they're using underhanded tactics to bring us down.
And if we are playing on grass, we might not be busted up as badly. As great as it is to have a world-class tournament, the Women's World Cup tournament is not without controversy. The matches will be played on artificial turf, which was a contentious issue with the players. They claimed that the surface was less forgiving than natural grass and impacts play because of concerns over injury. Still, the overriding complaint was actually more of equality. Because if everybody remember from last year, I mean, I'm pretty sure everybody remember there's so many videos online, everything. The men themselves at the World Cup are real grass, so why are we forced to deal with artificial turf?
I don't know, but last fall, the USA forward, Abby Wambach, and a group of fellow players also filed a complaint of gender discrimination against FIFA and the Canadian Soccer Association at the Human Rights Tribunal of Ontario, Neither moved in reconsidering the planned surface for the event. The complaint was later withdrawn as players chose to put the sport of soccer first. Apparently, the attorney Hampton Dellinger released a statement saying that the players' willingness to contest the unequal playing fields and the tremendous public support they received marks the start of even greater activism to ensure fair treatment when it comes to women's sports. So, I know it's just a small little issue. It's only grass. Are you disappointed with FIFA's decision to continue with the artificial turf, especially for women's soccer events, or do you agree with Dellinger's statement?
Yeah, it's an interesting one. Like, it's actually, I mean, I do agree that it is an issue of equality. But if you sort of look back to the original application from Canada, I mean, it was always on the table. And Canada is a very cold country for a lot of the year, and which is why a lot of their stadiums do have artificial turf. However, I do know that in the past, when it's been a turf field in the men's World Cup or major tournament, they actually resurface it with grass for the game. So, you know, I think it comes down to, it is an equality issue. It comes down to a matter of money. But you know,
it is money.
Yeah, but as the players have, the players have said, look, it's time we just got on with it. And I think that it's not something that's going to go away. I think that, this issue is going to continue to come up. Personally, like, while I might play terrible football, I have played a tournament on turf, and it is a very unforgiving surface. When you have to play day in and day out on that surface, like I've done a couple of games here which are one-off. Sydney FC here last season play on turf, and I've played on that pitch, and that's fine for a game. But when you're backing up over a tournament, it's really, really tough. So, I think it's something that they should definitely look at for next time. And I just worry it sets a precedent.
A midfielder for the Houston Dash and a member of the U.S. women's national team player pool, Megan Klingenberg, who joins us right now. Megan, I know this was a controversy that was dragging for a while, and FIFA and the Canadian Association both refused to really change anything. Why did these players ultimately then decide to drop the lawsuit and agree to play on artificial turf?
First of all, I don't think that we necessarily lost anything. Our main goal is to win a World Cup for the USA in the summer and bring the trophy back to the U.S. But I think the reason that we dropped it is because it got held up in court and it was becoming a distraction. And, our focus really now is to go forward, play on turf, be the best that we can possibly be, and try and win on whatever surface we happen to be playing on at the World Cup. And I think we made the right decision there.
But in terms of, like, their, do you also think that sportswomen in general face more scrutiny for their looks and image as compared to men? Or do you think that, like, for example, last year's women's cycling came to the forefront. It had less to do with amazing performances and more to do with, unfortunately, uniform design from the Colombia women team that just didn't happen to photograph well. And also from your article, Daniel, about how 4 topless models were hired to pose as athletes and parade around the red carpet with painted uniforms at an awards ceremony held to celebrate the achievement. What was that about? I mean, like, wow, I'm reading this and I'm like, I'm shocked.
Yeah, I still don't really know what happened there. That's the thing. It was a awards night to actually celebrate the achievements of female athletes. The intention was very good on the part of the magazine that hosted the events, but somebody somewhere had an idea and someone didn't check it, and God knows what happened. But yeah, that's what we ended up with. And, it just shows to me how far we still have to come when, an event purporting to actually promote female athletes and the achievement of female athletes can still get it so very, very wrong. And I think, there is, there's obviously a lot more scrutiny on women's looks as opposed to their ability, but I think that is changing, and I think there's a lot of really great media out there that are, no longer doing that. It's a slow and sure change, but it is happening, and I think what it's going to come down to is, the sponsorship side of things, I guess, because you talked about it briefly there before, but you know, one of the things that is a bit of an elephant in the room as far as I'm concerned is sponsorship of men's sport. If you look at it from a business perspective, a marketing perspective, a return on investment perspective, a lot of these companies that put big bucks are not getting a return on their investment. All they're getting is kudos and the ability to then go and hobnob in a corporate box at a game. So they're actually tapping into the, you know, the status of that sport. They're not looking at it from essentially a business angle in terms of bringing in more business to the company in that traditional sense. What they are looking at it is a way to, I guess, impress their friends. But when it comes down to women's sport, the questions that I often hear from sponsors is, well, what do we get out of it? You know, how much more business will we get from this? So they're asking different questions of the sport. And I think once we kind of break that down and that changes, and we start to have more respect for women's sport, more women's sport on TV, you'll start to see the money come in. And I mean, it's not just money and sponsorship. It's, you know, it's broadcast, it's fans. I mean, as fans, we have a responsibility to get out there and support our female athletes. So it's not, you know, there isn't one quick fix to this. There's several areas that all feed into each other.
You get a lot of, as you said, a lot of male football counterparts actually tend to get a hell of a lot of sponsorships aside from the sporting goods that they are ambassadors of. Like, for example, you have Ronaldo, I mean, advertising for KFC. You're like, what? It doesn't make sense to me because, you know, you're a footballer, you're supposed to be healthy, but you're eating totally unhealthy food. And then, you know, it just comes to a point that I find that they're very myopic about the audience because a lot of women are very, very capable. They're earning a lot. But speaking about the game, how is the women's football scene like in Australia? Because I've heard about the Socceroos; they're pretty big. What's it like? Is it healthy? Is it going where it needs to go? Is response to the sport for women pretty positive right now in Australia?
Yeah, because you guys have been in the World Cup for like 6 times, which is quite a record.
That's right.
So obviously there must be a strong
support.
Yeah, and culture as well.
Yeah, I think like football in Australia has come a long way, especially with the introduction of the W League. So the W League is the Australian Women's National League, equivalent to the A League, which is the men's league. And it's been going for 7 seasons now. Unfortunate ABC cuts are quite devastating for our game. But in saying that, with the views that we had, we might not have the same amount of spectators at the game, but we were getting a lot of TV views. And I think just that little bit of insight is a major positive for us, and I think boosts FFA's efforts to try and get us back on TV and push a little bit more of the marketing side our way. But on the field, our women are like amazing. I'm amazed by the youth players coming through our under-20 team and even younger than that. I think we just have like passionate footballers, and that's what's helped us. I mean, we're ranked number 10. We've been to that many World Cups and to 2 quarterfinals. So I don't know, we've got the skill on the field, and I think it's just purely coming from passionate footballers.
One more minute!
And both teams are still goalers! Looks like they're heading for a draw.
It's time to do something really drastic, guys.
Yeah, we'll play a quiz. Hands on your ball. Question number 1. Who won the first ever FIFA Women's World Cup? Is it A, Norway, B, Canada, C, Brazil, D, USA?
Oh God!
D, USA.
I think it's Norway. I'm not sure though.
USA.
Norway.
Okay, and the answer is USA.
Oh, I win!
1 point for Princess.
That's right. They've got 2 stars on their jersey. Had to be them.
Okay, so we have the second question. This has some names and really bad names as well. I'll try my best not to butcher them too badly. Okay. Who among the following football players scored the most goals in the 2011 edition of the FIFA Women's World Cup? Is it A, Sawa Homedai, B, Mata, C, Abby Wambach, D, Lisa Dalsnix?
I think it's Marta, if I'm not mistaken. Oh, it could be Abby Wambach. Ah!
I thought, I'm trying to remember who was holding that golden boot.
I think it was Sawa, maybe.
Okay.
Sawa got man of the match for the grand final.
Oh, okay. Maybe that's what I'm thinking. Because I remember her holding a trophy.
Yeah. I want to say Abby Wambach, but I'm not entirely sure.
Yeah. Hey, also not very sure.
And the answer is actually Sawa. You're right.
Well done.
Which among the following countries has hosted the FIFA Women's World Cup twice? Is it A, Canada, B, USA, C, Germany, D, Sweden? There are actually only 2 countries who have done it. So
USA.
So everybody is USA.
USA.
And you guys are right, it's really USA. The only 2 countries that have hosted the Women's World Cup is USA and China 2 times. Yeah, so, well. Okay, it will be Canada's first time hosting this. Okay, 4th question. During the FIFA Women's World Cup in 2007, Germany beat Argentina in the first match. How many goals did Germany scored in that match? That is a really crazy match.
That's a very specific question.
I think it's 2. I think it's 2. This one I saw.
And it's the one with the very crazy scoreline.
Yes,
Number 1.
I think it's 2.
A is 4 goals. B is 3 goals. C is 9 goals. D is 11 goals.
Oh, I'm going to go with 11.
11.
11. 11 for R?
May as well, yeah. Has to be extreme.
I have no idea.
No, hold on. I think it was 7 if I'm not mistaken.
Okay, 7 for Persis, 11 for the 2 other for Danielle and Tamika. And the answer is D is 11.
That's ridiculous.
That is like the craziest scoreline I ever seen in my whole life. I couldn't believe it. I actually watched the match. I was like, what?
Yeah, that's crazy.
11-0 set a record of the highest scoring match in the Women's World Cup history. That is so insane.
Insane, 11, right? Wow.
Yeah, wow. Okay, last question. Everyone, that's not too hard, right? I think my quiz. Okay, final question. Which country will host the 2019 edition of the FIFA Women's World Cup? Is it A, Japan, B, Korea, C, France, D, Australia?
So which year did you say?
The next one.
Oh,
2019.
After Canada?
France,
yeah.
Yeah, after
France.
It was only between 2 countries, wasn't it?
Bonjour.
Bonjour.
Is it bonjour for everyone?
Bonjour, croissant.
Oh no.
And the answer is yes, it's C, France. Bonjour.
Yeah! Croissant wins.
No way! Did the referee just give the other team a free kick?
Oh, that's not what we meant by drastic.
And we are all caught up. Oh no!
Oh.
Well, good luck, guys. Good luck. Win this one for us.
No, I don't really want to go to the pitch. I'm not sure I don't know what I'm doing. Holy smokes! That's heck of a kick!
Is that even legal?
Oh no, I'm going to die!
Channel your inner in to block the ball, Persis. You can do it. Just channel it.
Okay. Here goes.
Great work, Persis.
Woohoo! There is still hope.
Tamika is going for it.
Go, Tamika!
Is that the Crouching Tiger Hidden Dragon bicycle kick move?
Cool, she's employing some Shaolin football tactics.
Ooh, what a kick!
So the ball is heading towards the post and it's
Well, that's the end of another kick-ass episode of Tomboy T-Rod. Thanks for playing football with us, folks. If you enjoyed this episode, don't forget to subscribe to the show on iTunes and Stitcher, and please give us feedback. We've also got a great website with everything you want to read about being a tomboy in today's world. And if you have any inquiries about advertising, collaborating, or appearing on this podcast or our blog, you can drop us an email at hello@tomboy-tarts.com. Because we are everywhere!
Everywhere, people! Everywhere!
So until the next 2 weeks, folks, happy footballing!
Ciao and adios, amigos! Ole!